Obviously a really good team that we played against. This has been something that we've looked at here for a while with the Columbia and the short turnaround with Temple. A lot of respect for their staff and their players. I told Coach Richardson before the game, I said, they're a team that I think is going to win their league. And I look at their roster, they don't have any seniors. They might, win the thing here for a couple of years. But I was really worried about the matchup. I think they hit the boards really, really well. They put a lot of pressure on that. I thought those were the two things that were going to be telltale about the game. And I think I said, as long as Maggie Dugan doesn't get in foul trouble, we'll be all right. I didn't know that she would, have one of the most impressive performances that I've seen from her, which is saying a lot. Like you said, there's a lot of Maggie Dugan all over that game today.
I'm going to try to phrase this, but Maggie seems sturdier this year. I mean, last year they beat on you in the paint, they beat on you outside, but this year it doesn't matter. You just play right through it. Am I heading in the right direction there?
I wouldn't say sturdy. I'm still on the floor a lot. Last year I just got in foul trouble really early, and then I was just playing timid and wasn't really looking for my shot. I was kind of just out there, honestly. So this year, obviously, that was kind of in the back of my mind of, hey, I want to prove myself at least to their coaching staff, and just show that I'm better than last year's performance. But obviously, we kind of needed a little extra offensive power, I guess you could say. We weren't really making shots in that first half. We were early, not really in the second quarter, but I just felt like we needed some kind of spark, and I was able to provide that.
Number 7 for Temple did all she could to keep Temple in the game, and she matched threes with you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought, again, they have some really good players over there. I like the stuff that they run. I thought Turner was really good when we saw them last year. I think it was the first game of the year last year. They had some older kids, but, kind of watched her and then followed her throughout the year. I know she had a really, really good year last year, and she's gotten off to a great start. I knew she'd be a tough matchup. Obviously we had Alicia on her. I thought Alicia did a really good job early. She kind of got free. Some of those were in transition. I thought Rain Wright's defense tonight was outstanding on Turner. I mean, we've been kind of waiting for this and kind of wanting this. Admittedly, I think a question going into this season was our perimeter defense with some of the kids that we lost. Between the last few games, what Alicia's done for us and what Rain kind of showed tonight, really, really impressed by that. And I thought that was I thought that was a big story of the game, was her defense tonight.
That was kind of my next question. Some of your younger kids are starting to show their abilities.
Yeah. Again, I know it's not a young kid, but, I think Tiara and Sky, I thought were really good today. I know Sam was with us last year, but, I thought the three of them, their defense, what we asked them to do on the boards, Maggie obviously was incredible on the boards today too, but, the rebounding and the perimeter defense has been a question of our staff going into it, and I think that we got a lot of answers. We knew we'd have some answers after this 5-game stretch. I feel a lot better about our team after the last 2 games, but even Ava, I know her shot didn't fall today, but if all of a sudden 1 or 2 of those go, we're talking about Ava, because I thought her floor game was solid today. She's figuring things out. Rain's figuring things out. And we talked about Nika, the game that she had at William and Mary, and these last 2 maybe have been a tough way to get her into the game. But really, really happy with our roster. I know everybody keeps talking about deservedly so with Maggie, but I think that was maybe the story the first couple games of Maggie, and then we got to figure some other things out. Now it's Maggie playing even better, and I like what the rest of the roster is doing.
I'd love to hear about that moment in the third quarter when the lead was cut to 1. What did you see, Maggie, and you as well, in the game that allowed you to settle in and slow down the pace? Because I feel like you were really pushed to play fast, and I'd love to hear how you took control offensively.
Me, Allie, and Rachel watched film with Coach today, and he basically told us that if that were to happen, we need to slow down because we didn't do that well in Columbia. So shout out to a film session today. But honestly, it was like we have a thing of we don't really want to lose on our home floor. We want to protect the Robins Center, and I feel like that just kind of popped into my head at least, like of, hey, they're going to go on runs. Like, obviously, this is a game of runs. Everybody's going to make shots at some point, and it was our turn to make a run, I think our offense was getting to the point of, like, we were scoring almost every possession, so that just kind of, like, locked us in, and we knew that we had to lock down on defense and really try and focus on getting quality shots on the offensive end. Okay, there you go.
That fourth quarter was amazing. What clicked for you offensively in that quarter?
Me. I don't know, because I missed a lot of my threes early, and I just had to tell myself to keep shooting. Shout out to Coach Alex. We work on our long distance threes at the end of every single one of our workouts, and that paid off today, so shout out to her. But my teammates were just finding me. They were still weren't really changing much of what they were doing on defense, so I knew I was going to have shots, and I took them, and thankfully they went in.
And after 5 games, this felt like a veteran type of championship style game, and I'd really love to see how you would like to carry this identity throughout. Is this a game that you feel like reflects the team and the identity of the team that you are this year? Yeah,
that's a great question. It's a really, really great question, because I probably hadn't thought about that, and we've been talking a lot about identity and kind of what we are. In fairness, the first 3 games not really being close, and I didn't think that we played even some of the good moments that we weren't. I don't know if I loved where we were at. I thought coming out of Columbia, I was like, okay, we're starting to show some things. I thought today looked a lot like some of the teams that we've had over the last few years. With all due respect to those guys, we are not there yet. I hope we can get to that ceiling. But you saw the performances from the bench today. You saw what Rain and Ava could do. I thought Sam's minutes were huge for us tonight. I thought Sky and some spot minutes were huge defensively and rebounding. So I think you start to see some more things with the roster. I still think there's some players that are going to play on Sunday, because these 2 games were it was some interesting matchups, some interesting things that we had to do. But I really do like the identity. I think there's a toughness component to our team right now, defensively and rebounding, that if this is our identity, I really like where this squad can go.